Reverse deficit curtsy lunges. How do we do it?
All right. Well, I love this in the Smith machine, first of all, because it gives you kind of the stability to be able to really access your glutes a little bit more. So getting that glute tie-in, bikini competitors, you know all about this. So what you're going to need is a low block of some sort. So my gym has kind of like the foldable plastic step-ups, if you will. A bench is a little high. It's a little aggressive. Or you can stack up a couple weight plates, whatever works for you, whatever you have access to. So you'll position yourself with the working leg on the step. And then as you come down, you're going to have the Smith rack kind of high on your back. And you're going to almost push your hips backwards as you take your non-working leg kind of cross body behind your working leg. So you do come into that curtsy. So when you're coming down, that working leg or that working glute really, really gets stretched. So you want to drop that non-working knee behind the bench and behind the working leg and drop it below. So that's the point of the bench, is you get that extra deficit, giving you the extra stretch, and then thus making the way up a little bit more challenging for that working glute, because you're coming from such a stretched position to start that concentric movement. And then you get the extra stretch too from the curtsy coming behind and like stretching to the side. So it's kind of a double whammy with the extra deficit and the curtsy all in one. And then the Smith machine, like I said, it's great because now you can really just help yourself get into that position, push the glute back as you come down, and that weight's not going to like fall over, or you're going to lose your balance and drop the weight on your neck or something crazy. So it kind of keeps you safe, kind of keeps you stabilized, and really allows you to sink in to that stretched position and cross position, which helps you get also that glute medius, which my bikini competitors know is really, really important. That's where the magic comes in. You get that glute shelf and all of that. So, as you come up, like I said, just coming from that stretched position, push through the entire foot, try to really get the heel involved. Don't try to, make sure you're not like just pushing from the tip of your toe. Also, when you start that contraction, try really hard not to push off of your non-working foot, which is probably tapping on the ground at this point. So it's really tempting to assist your working leg with that back leg to come off the ground, but really think about it. Like, get in the mind of the muscle of starting that contraction with entirely that working glute and not the back foot helping. That's going to be really crucial, and it's tricky, and it's completely mental. So that'll be your reverse deficit curtsy lunge. For weight selection, definitely start a little lighter until you know what you are working with. And plus, every Smith machine is a little bit different. Some Smith racks are like, I don't know if you want to call it like stickier, I don't know, but some of them are definitely heavier to move, even just the bar. So on my particular one, a good starting weight for me is about 20 pounds on each side, but that's going to completely vary on experience, how many reps you're doing, if you're going to failure, or if it's a warm-up set, and your Smith rack, obviously. So definitely start lighter. Make sure you have your form locked in. Make sure you have your step correct, and you're safe and you're good to go, and then work your way up from there.
Wow, that was incredible. I loved every bit of that. Thank you so much. Except for the part where you said 20 pounds, because that's like kind of more weight than I do, I'm pretty sure.
It was. But again, my Smith
you're
rack,
right, it absolutely humbles you.
My Smith rack must be different than yours, because I am sure your legs are stronger than mine.
I don't know. Have you seen your quads? Speaking of which, question for you on the quads. Are you using any quads at all consciously, or are you 100% strictly focusing on isolating your glute medius?
So the way I do it, I am trying to focus on my glutes and my glute medius. And I do that by, when I go down into that rep, I am kind of pushing. I'm not letting my knee come forward. I'm pushing back with my hips as I sink, almost like I'm reaching a little further back with that non-working leg. It's not coming necessarily straight down behind the block. I'm letting it go farther back. My hips are going back. My knee is staying backwards, if you will, versus coming forward as I go down. And I'm almost collapsing or folding forward at the hips so that I get that stretch in the glutes. And then as I come up, I'm thinking about squeezing my glutes. Almost mentally, I'm thinking about squeezing my hamstrings almost as a mental thing that I just do in my head. As I squeeze that together, and I'm thinking squeeze and push hips back forward. So that takes the glutes into it versus thinking about extending the knee back up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to kind of pull in the quads a little bit more. So it's a lot mental. It's very, very small changes in how your hips are going back, how you're collapsing forward. Again, why I use the Smith rack, because you can't really fold forward like that with a barbell. It will roll off your head. So that's definitely how I try to stay more glute focused. As I approach failure, I mean, regardless, your quads are going to feel it, especially as a bikini competitor that doesn't necessarily train a lot of quads. Your quads are probably not your strongest asset because you don't train them very often. So they might kick in just because they aren't as strong. So you will probably still feel them regardless. But I definitely try to make sure that those glutes, like that mind muscle getting into the glutes, is the primary focus.